Then the girl in the corner with the scarlet letter. While you're watching, you may think that she doesn't matter, but no one knows you better.
Hi guys, I'm Jubel Loria and I'm here to answer the review questions from chapter 1 to 11. So the review questions chapter 1 to 11. So number 1, enables instant real-time communication between two or more people. A. Social media. B. Collaboration tools. C. Texting. So the answer is letter C. Texting. Texting enables instant real-time communication between two or more people. Next is number 2. Our web pages and groups of people can edit and view together, whereas a blog is more of an individual personal journal. A wiki is a group creation. As such, it may be subject to more extensive review and editing. Many businesses use wikis as their internal collaboration tool. A. Blogs. B. Wikis. C. Podcasting. So the answer is the wikis, because wikis are pages that groups of people can edit and view together, whereas a blog is more of an individual personal journal. A wiki is a group creational. As such, it may be subject to more extensive review and editing. Many businesses use wikis as their international collaboration tool. So the blog is the weblogs are web pages that can easily to update and edit. Unlike commercial website, blog give anyone a means to communicate their thoughts to a global audience without technical knowledge of web designs. The podcasting is allow people to deliver their audio recordings to a wide audience. The audio file is placed on the website where others can download it and play the recording on their computers, laptops, and other mobile devices. Next is 3. Is an insecure method of remotely establishing a CLI session through a virtual interface over a network. Unlike SSH, Telnet does not provide a securely encrypted connection. User authentication, password, and commands are sent over the network plain text. A. Console. B. Secure shell. C. Telnet. So the answer is Telnet. The Telnet is insecure method of remotely establishing a CLI session through a virtual interface over a network. Unlike SSH, Telnet does not provide a securely encrypted connection. User authentication, passwords, and commands are sent over the network in plain text. So the console is a type management port of the provides out of the band access to a Cisco device out of the band access via dedicated management channel that is used for device maintenance purposes only. So the secure shell is the method for remotely establishing a secure CLI connection through virtual interface over a network. Unlike a console connection, CCH connections require active networking service on the device, including an interface configured with an address. Next is number 4. This model has limited capabilities but is useful for basic operations. It allows limited number of basic monitoring commands but does not allow the execution of any commands that might change the configuration of the device. The user exec mode is identified by the CLI prompt that ends with the symbol. A. User exec mode. B. Line configuration mode. C. Privilege exec mode. So the answer is letter A, user exec mode. This mode has limited capabilities but is useful for basic operation. It allows only limited number of basic monitoring commands that not allow the execution of any commands that may change configuration of the device. That user exec mode is identified by the CLI prompt and ends with the symbol. Letter B, the line configuration mode is used to configure the console CCH, Telnet, or AUX access. The letter C is privilege exec mode to execute configuration commands. A network administrator but access privilege exec mode. Higher configuration modes like global configuration mode can only be reached from privilege exec mode. This privilege exec mode can be identified by the prompt ending with the symbol. Number 5, if a person asks a question and does not hear a response within the acceptable amount of time, the person assumes that no answer is coming and reacts accordingly. The person may repeat the question or may go with the conversation host on the network also have rules and specify how long to wait for a response and action take it. Timeout occurs. Letter A, flow control. Letter B, access method. Letter C, response timeout. So the answer is the letter C, response timeout. If a person asks a question and does not hear a response within a acceptable amount of time, the person assumes that no answer is coming and reacts accordingly. The person may repeat the question or may go in the conversation. So letter A, the flow control is timing also affects how much information can be sent and speed that it can be delivered. If one person speaks too quickly, it is difficult for the person to hear and understand the message in the network. Communication source and destination host used to control methods and negotiate correcting timing for successful communication. Letter B, access method determines when someone is able to send a message. If two people talk the same time, a collation of the information occurs and necessary for the two back of the start again as shown. Likewise, it is necessary for a computer to define access method, host, and the network needed an access method to know to begin the sending message and how to respond when collision occur. Mm. Next, number 6 is responsible for taking the formatted segment from TCP, encapsulating them into packets, assigning them the address and deliver them from the destination host. Letter A, HTTP, letter B, IP, letter C, TCP. So the answer is the IP is responsible for taking the formatted segment from TCP and encapsulating them into packets, assigning them an address and delivering them destination host. So the letter A, HTTP, is application protocol that governs the way web server and web client interact. HTTP defines the content and formatting of the request and response to exchange between the client and the server. Both the client and the server software implement HTTP as part of the application. HTTP relies on the protocol to govern how the messages are transferred between the client and the server. So the letter TCP is the transport protocol that manages the individual conversation. TCP divides the HTTP message into smaller pieces called segments. These segments are sent between the web server and the client process running the destination host. TCP is also responsible for controlling the size of the rate which messages are exchanged between the server and the client. So number 7, the electronic hardware devices, media, the other connectors that transmit and carry the signals to represent bits, hardware components such as NICS interface and connectors, cable materials, and cable designing are all specified standards associated with the physical layer. The various ports of the interface on a Cisco 1941 router are examples of physical components with specific connectors and pinouts resulting from standards. Letter A, physical components. Letter B, encoding. Letter C, signaling. So the answer is the physical components are the electronic hardware device, media, and others connector that transmit and carry the signals to represent the bits. Hardware components such as NICS interface and connectors and cable materials and cable design are all specified standard associated with the physical layer. The various ports that interface on Cisco 1941 router are also examples of physical components with the specific connectors and pinout resulting from standard. The letter B is encoding or line encoding is a method of converting a stream of data bits into a predefined code. Codes are groupings of bits used to provide predictable pattern that can be recognized by both the sender and receiver. In other words, encoding is the method or pattern used to represent digital information, similar to how Morse code encodes a message using a series of dots and dashes. Letter C. The physical layer must be generate the electrical, optical, or wireless signals that represent the 1 and 0 on the media. The method of representing the bits is called the signaling method. Number 8 gets its name from the fact that there are two conductors that share same axis. Letter A, shielded twisted pair. Letter B, coaxial cable or coax. Letter C, unshielded twisted pair. So the answer is letter C, coaxial or coax for short, gets its name from the fact that there are two conductors that share the same axis. So the letter A, shielded twisted part, provides better noise production to UTP cabling. However, compared to UTP cable, STP cable is significantly more expensive and difficult to install. Like UTP cable, STP uses an RJ45 connector. Letter C, unshielded twisted part. Cabling is the most common networking media. UTP cable terminated with RJ45 connects is used for interconnecting the network host with intermediate network devices such as switches and routers. Number 9. The framing process provides important delimiters that are used to identify group of bits and make up a frame. These delimiting bits provide synchronization between transmitting and receiving nodes. Letter A, addressing. Letter B, error and detection. Letter C, frame delimiting. So the answer is frame delimiting. Letter C, the framing process provides important delimiters that are identify the group of bits that make up the frame. This delimiting provides a synchronization between the transmitting and receiving nodes. So the addressing is the encapsulation process contains the layer 3 PDU and also provides for data link layer addressing. Letter B, the error detection. Each frame contains a trailer used to detect any errors in transmission. Number 10, packets contain a destination IPv4 address that has all one in the host portion. This numbering in the address means that all hosts on the local network broadcast domain will receive and process the packet. Many network protocols such as DHCP and ARP is used broadcast. Letter A, unicast address. Letter B, multicast addresses. Letter C, broadcast addresses. So the answer is letter C, broadcast packet addresses contains the destination IPv4 addresses that has ones in the host portion. This numbering in the address means all the hosts on the local network will receive. Letter A, the unicast MAC address is the unique address used when a frame is sent from a signal transmitting device to a single destination device. Letter B, the multicast addresses allows a source of device to send a packet to group of devices. Devices that belongs to multicast group are assigned a multicast group IP addresses. So number 11, the protocol data unit PDU from the transport layer into a packet. The encapsulation process adds IP header information such as the IP address of the source sending and the destination receiving host. So letter A, addressing and devices. B, encapsulation. C, routing. So the answer is letter B, encapsulation. The network layer encapsulates the protocol data unit from the transport layer into a packet. That encapsulation process adds IP header information such as IP address for the source sending and destination receiving host. So letter A, the addressing and devices must be configured with the unique IP address for identification on the network. Letter C, the routing. The network layer provides service to direct packets to a destination host on another network to travel to other network. The packet must be processed by a router. The router of the router is select the best path and direct packets toward the destination host in the process, knowing as router a packet may occur many intermediary devices before reaching the destination. Each router, a packet process to reach the destination host is called a hop. Number 12 contains an 8-bit bin- binary value that is used to limit the lifetime of a packet. The packet sender sets the initial TTL value and decrease by 1 each time the packet is proceed by a router. If TTL field decrements to 0, the router discards the packet and sends an Internet Control Managed Protocol ICMP time exceed message to the source IP address. Letter A version, letter B time to live, letter C differentiated services or def serve. So the answer is letter B. The time to live contains an 8-bit binary value that is used to limit the lifetime of a packet. The packet sender sets the initial TTL value and is decreased by 1 each time of the packet is proceeded by the router. If the TTL fields decrements to 0, the router discards the packet. The send an Internet Control Message Protocol time exceed message to the source IP address. So the letter A version contains a 4-bit binary value set to 0100 that identifies this an IP version for packet. So the letter C differentiated service or def serve, formerly called the type of service field. That DS field is an 8-bit field used to determine the priority of each packet. The 6 most significant bits of the def serve field of the differentiated service code point, and the last 2 bits are the explicit convention notification bits. Number 13 contains a 32-bit value that represents the IPv4 address of the packet. The source IPv4 address always unique as address. Letter A source IPv4 address, letter B destination IPv4 address, letter C protocol. So the answer is letter A. Source IPv4 address contains a 32-bit binary value that represents the source IPv4 address of the packet. The source IPv4 address is always unique as an address. Letter B destination IPv4 address contains a 32-bit value that represents the destination IPv4 address of the packet. The destination IPv4 address is the unicast, multicast, or broadcast address. Letter C, the protocol field is used to identify the next level protocol. This 8-bit binary value indicates the data payload type of the packet is carrying when enables the network layer to pass the data to appropriate upper layer protocol. Common values include ICMP, TCP, and UDP-17. Number 14, unique IPv4 address of the host. Letter A, default gateway. Letter B, subnet mask. Letter C, IPv4 address. So the unique IPv4 address of the host is the answer is letter C. The IPv4 unique IPv4 address of the host. The letter is A is default gateway, identifies the local router interface IPv4 address to reach remote networks. The letter B subnet mask used to identify the network host portion of the IPv4 address. Next is 15. The process of sending a packet from host to on host in the network. Letter A, unicast. Letter B, broadcast. Letter C, multicast. So the answer is letter B, broadcast. the process of sending a packet from one host to all hosts in the network. The unicast is the process of sending a packet from the host to an individual host, and the multicast is the process of sending packet from one host to selected group of hosts, possibly in the different networks. Number 16. In 192.168.1.127 and contains all 1 bits in the host portion of the address. Letter A, IPv4 broadcast address. Letter B, last IPv4 host address. Letter C, first IPv4 host address. So the answer is IPv4 broadcast address is 192.168.127 and contains all bits in the host portion of the address. That is letter A. Letter B, last IPv4 host address is 192.168.1.126 and contains all 1 bit plus a rightmost 0 bit in the host portion of the address. Letter C is first IPv4 host address is 192.168.1.1 and contains all 0 bits plus a rightmost 1 bit in the host portion of the address. Number 17 is 192.168.1.0 and contains all 0 bits in the host portion of the address. Letter A, IPv4 network address. Letter B, IPv4 broadcast address. Letter C, first IPv4 host address. So the answer is letter A, IPv4 network address is 192.168.1.0 and contains all 0 bits in the host portion of the address. Letter B, the IPv4 broadcast address is 192.168.1.127 and contains all 1 bits in the host portion of the address. Letter C, the first IPv4 host address is 192.168.1.1 and contains 0 bits plus a rightmost 1 bits in the host portion of the address. Number 19, a subnet mask of 255.0.0.0 or /8. Letter A, 172.16.0.0 dash 172.31.255.255. Letter B, 10.10.10 slash 10.255.255.255. Letter C, 192.168.0.0 dash 192.168.255.255. So the answer is letter B, that 10.10.10 dash 10.255.255.255 with a subnet mask of 255.00 or /8. The letter A is 172.16.0.0 dash 172.31.255.255 with a subnet mask of 255.240.00 or /12. Letter C is 192.168.0.0 dash 192.168.255.255 with a subnet mask of 255.255.0 or /16. So use number 19, used to identify the application. A, acknowledgement number 32 bits, B, sequence number 32 bits, C, source port 16 and destination port 16 bits. So the answer is letter C, source port 16 bits and destination port 16 bits, used to identify the application. So the acknowledgement number 32 bits indicates data has been received and next byte expected from the source. The letter B, sequence number 32 bits used for data assembly purposes. Number 20, known as data offset, indicates length of the TCP segment header. Letter A, header length 4 bits. Letter B, receive 6 bits. Letter C, control bit 6 bits. So the answer is letter A, header length 4 bits. Notes known as data offset indicates the length of the TCP segment header. Letter B, reserved 6-bit. This field is received from the future. Letter C, control bit 6 bits includes bit codes or flags which indicates the purpose and the function of TCP segment. Number 21, used for error checking of the segment header and data. Letter A, window size 16-bit. Letter B, checksum 16 bits. Letter C, urgent 16 bits. So the answer is checksum 16 bits used for error checking of the segment header data. So a window size 16 bits indicates the number of bytes by can be accepted at one time. The urgent 16 bits indicates if data is urgent. So number 22 uploads data files to a web server such as from data. Letter A, get. Letter B, post. Letter C, put. So the answer is letter B, post. Uploads data files from the web server such from the data. So the get is a client request for data. A client web browser sends the get message to the web server to request HTML pages. So the put uploads resources from or content to the web server such as an image. Number 23, email exchange record, letter A, NS, letter B, AAA, letter C, MX. So the answer is MX, email exchange records. The NS is an authoritative name server, and the AAA, an end device IPv6 address pronounced quad A. List of 24, list of the device that use of compromise the network. Letter A, device inventory. Letter B, budget. Letter C, traffic analysis. So the answer is the device inventory. List of letter A, list of the device that use or compromise the network. The budget is itemized IT budget including fiscal year equipment purchasing budget. Letter C, the traffic analysis protocol application and service and their respective traffic requirements should be documented. Next is 25, physical damage to servers, routers, and switches, cabling plant, and workstation. Letter A, environmental threats. Letter B, electrical threats. Letter C, hardware threats. So the answer is the hardware threats, physical damage to servers, routers, switch, and cabling plant, and workstation. Letter C. The answer is letter C. So, the environmental threats, temperature extremes, too hot or too cold or humidity extreme, too wet or too dry. The electrical threats, its voltage spikes, insufficient supply voltage, brownouts, and unconditional power noise and total power loss. So that's all the review question from chapter 1 to 11.